Hey, what's up, everybody? I figured I would do a little video here to share with everybody. I've got something that's going on, and the cast and crew indicated they were interested in seeing my process here. But first of all, I just want to let you know we are releasing the first 3.5 minutes of the Great Dismal on August 1st. And if you'll go to the Great Dismal movie page on Facebook, I've got a post there about it. And if you'll make a comment and hit the like button, I'm going to draw one lucky winner that's going to receive a poster signed by the cast and myself. So that's going to be signed by me, Jameson Utley, Sam Bailey, William English, and Burl Stocks. Now, as far as the Great Dismal, we've got about 6 scenes we need to shoot and or reshoot. And I have to wait for the environment to get back to the way it was when we were shooting before, because everything's just too green now. We're in summer. I was shooting in late winter, early spring, so it just doesn't look right. And for continuity purposes, I need to wait till probably late fall. We're going to be looking maybe late October to mid-November, I would imagine. That being said, everything else with that movie is put together. I've got most of it edited. I have some sound design I need to work on. I just did an update on the software that I edit by. It's software that Hollywood edits by. And when I did the update to the new version, some things got out of line, and it just had a few glitches, so I'm fixing those. I've actually got the entire movie rendered so that I can go through it and mark the spots that I need to fix. Like there's one scene where I've got Jameson and Jameson Utley and William English are laughing when I started rolling the camera, which caused me to laugh. And then you hear me saying action, and then you hear Jameson laugh again, and then I tell him to let's go with it. But so it kind of slid some of the scenes away from where I had the original cut. So I've got to do some fixing with that. That being said, I've got the second film I'm working on, the documentary. The official name of it is The Incredulous Case of Aliens, the U.S. Government, and Arnie Smith. And that film is complete. I've got everything set up for it with distribution, and the only thing I've really got left there is I need to upload the final part, but I need to go through it a couple more times to make sure everything is right. But all of my artwork, all of the paperwork, all of the documentation I need for that is with the distributor already. I expect to have that sent to the distributor by the end of the first week of August, and then it's just a wait and see when the different streaming networks pick up on it. So it's going to be sent to like 120 channels, I think, is where it's going. So just kind of give you an update on that. And the last update I'm going to do here is back in March, Sam Bailey approached me about a story concept and asked me if I would direct it and co-produce it with him, as well as write it. And I'm not going to give the name of it yet. If any of you super sleuths out there, if you go to my IMDb page, it'll be pretty easy for you to find out which film I'm talking about, but I'm not going to announce it here. We'll wait a little bit longer on that because I'm not really trying to promote it because, well, I'm going to tell you here in just a second. But Sam Bailey approached me about it, and we'll just call it an undisclosed ghost story right now. And this is going to be a true horror story. It'll be a feature film. And we've kind of got the cast already lined up, and the reason we do that is back in March I really didn't know where I wanted to go with that story, and of course I was still filming Great Dismal at the time, and I had my focuses elsewhere. But a couple of weeks ago, the things started flowing in my head to get the story that I needed. Now, when I wrote the Outdoors column, I wrote it for 10 years. I did 525 columns over the 10 years without missing a single week. And all I needed was that first sentence. If I could get the first sentence, then I could develop my segue to the end and then fill in the middle. That's kind of what I do with this type thing now that I'm working on scripts. Is I needed, I'm looking for my twist, and the twist came to me. I did some research to make sure that the history plays in line, because this is a horror based on historical fact, and my history is together. So I got hold of Sam at the beginning of the week and said, "Hey man, I think I got this story put together. Do you mind if I go ahead and start writing it? Do you want to see it, or you just want me to go with it and surprise you?" And he said, "Just go with it." He's got a lot of stuff coming up. He's going to be going on tour here, on the comedy tour with, I don't know, 8-10 other people very soon. So he was all for me. Let's get this thing going, and he's allowing me to cast as I need to, that type of stuff. So I had an idea of some people that I wanted in it. Sam had already talked to one person that's a key person for this film about being in it. So I put everybody in a group, asked them if they want to be a part of it. Everybody was a resounding yes. And this is going to be a much bigger budget than the Great Dismal, but the concept is, it's a ghost story, and I've got a great twist for it, and I've got 2 storylines that are going to go into it, and I'm going to explain kind of my process and the thinking there. But the first thing, well, let's go ahead and do that. There's 2 storylines that we're going to follow in this horror flick, and then it's going to culminate into the grand climax. We're going to kind of leave it open-ended. That way, if it turns out pretty successful, it's going to be open for sequels. Kind of create a little universe there, I guess, for it. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. I did talk to Sam earlier today, and when I told him the story, he was like, "What kind of psychedelics am I using?" Because he thought it was fantastic. Was asking me how I came up with the stuff, so that makes me feel a little bit better. But what I'm doing here, the cast and crew are a little interested on how I start this process. And the first thing I did is, once I figured out my twist and put the story together, I've got a whiteboard at the house, and I started putting down the scene, or not necessarily the scenes, but the story. And anybody that's had high school English, they understand that there's a 3-act structure. But in script writing and filmmaking, there's actually a whole lot more complex stuff where you have to come up with an inciting moment, and it can be a 7-act, it can be a 9-act structure. So with that, we're having these 2 storylines that are going to follow separate but running together storylines and the act structure there, I guess. So it's going to be a complex movie, and from there, I've got to get the first scene, right? And, well, today is Thursday, July 28th, when I'm doing this. I'm in a hotel, so if it does not upload tonight, it's the hotel's fault for slow internet. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I am currently in Pawtucket, something like that, Florida. I'm down in the middle of Florida. I'm kind of between Gainesville and Orlando, I guess is the best way to say it. I've got some shoots here tomorrow, and then I've got a commercial to shoot in Panama City following that. And then next week I'm headed up to Pittsburgh and Buffalo and Syracuse and Ottawa and Albany, and so some things have hit. That's all commercials for a streaming service. But the first act, that's where we got to start. Now, I don't know if some of these people will watch this video, but I'm going to throw their names out here anyway. I may tag them when I throw this on Facebook. But Mark Bridgers and Bobby Fontanini and Scott Yost, if y'all remember, back in the 70s, one of the things we did on Friday night on WRAL was watch Chiller Theater. Now, for those that don't know, Chiller Theater was they would show this scary movie on Friday nights after the news went off at 11:30, and it was mostly stuff like The Wolf Man or Neferatu or Dracula, these black and white movies. Occasionally, you would have some of the early color movies, such as the Omega Man. If you don't know the Omega Man, when Will Smith announced that he was coming out with I Am Legend, right many years ago, a decade ago, I don't know. I was kind of excited. I was really excited actually because uh, I Am Legend was a remake of the Omega Man, and the Omega Man starred Charlton Heston. It was one of my favorite movies from back in the 70s when I was young. It scared the living daylights out of me. So anyway, Chiller Theater opened up with, it was black and white, grainy film in which someone was running through a graveyard, and all you could hear them was, from them running, going like that, and you would see like their back, you would see their sides of their legs, and see their feet running through the graveyard, and that's all you saw. And that was just for a preteen, that was pretty scary stuff. So that's what I envision on this first scene. That's how I'm going to start this movie out. We're going to have someone running through a graveyard. So I've got the computer, the phone right here is leaning against my computer screen, so I'm going to kind of type and talk. But I use Studio Binder for my script software. And scene one, we are exterior, graveyard at night. And the way this is going to kind of go, the next thing I have to do is my action with the scene. So I've established the location. The action is victim one. How about that? Victim number one is seen running through a graveyard. The camera shifts from slightly in front, not showing the face, to behind the victim, and their feet and legs as they dodge and jump headstones. Pretty good start action, right? The only thing you hear is the victim's breathing as they gasp for air in fear and exhaustion. That's my action line. So then I've got dialogue. Well, there's not much dialogue here, but I'm going to add one more thing to the thing here. The victim eventually trips over a marker and falls face down. They quickly roll over with the camera aimed directly toward their now centered face. My character is victim number one. And then they have dialogue. No. No. Please, God. No. They scream. right? Go back to action line. The camera picks up arms as if coming from the screen towards the victim as the victim shows the severity of the situation. Screen quickly is cut to black and the viewer is thrown into the next scene. Scene number one, not a lot of dialogue. It's a chase scene in which the camera ends up at the end being the chaser. Victim falls down. The victim is looking like this to the screen, and you see the hands reach out and towards the victim. And then we go to Act 2. Okay. Alright, this is interior. Bedroom at night. We'll slide this over a little bit. My character's name is going to be Blake. Blake quickly rises from lying on his back. Sweat beaded on his face and neck. His shirt is also damp with sweat. I'm 17 minutes into this. This is kind of long. I'm sorry, but we'll finish it with just this Act 2. I don't want to tell y'all too much of the story. I'm just kind of giving you this beginning part. In fact, I'm going to finish Act 2, but you've got that first part. So basically what happens is at the end of scene 1, you've got the person lying on their back as the arms come out to basically kill them, right? And then it immediately jumps to Blake waking up like that. So that's where we're at. I'm going to finish scene 2. I'm going to actually probably get about 5 or 6 scenes done tonight because I already have them written down on postcards. I transfer my story over to my postcards or my outline over to my postcards, start filling my scenes, and then that makes it easy for me to write the scenes because I can go postcard to postcard. But anyway, that's where we're at. I hope y'all enjoy this. If y'all want to see more stuff like this, please let me know. I'm going to upload this on YouTube and Facebook. And we've got another film that we're going to be doing. It's just a step into my 5-year plan here. And we've got some great actors. I think y'all are going to like it. It's heavily Eastern North Carolina based. It'll be another film in NC. So until next time, peeps, we'll see y'all later. And yeah, I'm in a hotel room and my truck is out that window that you can't see because it's too bright. Because it is hot, hot, hot. So anyway, we'll see y'all later.